Hey, this is another video we call Threadheads. We've got a couple of Threadheads here. This is to my right. We have Todd. Introduce yourself, Todd.
Hi, I'm Todd Rogers.
Where are you from?
I live in Washington, D.C. I'm originally from Western Pennsylvania.
He's a government bureaucrat.
That's pretty close.
And on this left, we have the other Todd.
Hey, Todd Kelly. I'm from, I live in Rome, Georgia. Originally from northeast Georgia, Athens area. Mowoga Lodge 243.
All right, I'm Jason Spangler from Santee down in South Carolina. So we have a little live show here, guys. We're filming from the Easley Trade-O-Ree Chris Jensen show up in South Carolina in the upstate. And we decided we would just turn the video camera on and just kind of talk, because that's what Threadheads is all about. Patch collectors just kind of talking about the hobby. So Todd Rogers has a little thing about talking about Trade-O-Rees and what is kind of special about our hobby. Todd, kick us off there.
So we were talking a couple of minutes ago, and one of the things that's really unique about this hobby is it's incredibly people-based. You know, we go after patches and cloth, but in order to get the patches and cloth, you have to trade with other people. You have to buy from other people. And it's sort of unique in the sense that you don't just go buy baseball cards and trade with the neighbor kids anymore. You know, you have to come out here. It's very I think Todd hit the nail on the head when he said it was relationship-based, and that's so true. And coming to a Trade-O-Ree, you got to kind of network throughout the room. Who's got the stuff that I'm looking for? You know, who can help me get that piece maybe not even 2 months from now, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now? Who's going to be looking out for my interests? Whose interests can I look out for? You know, I'm obviously from the north. You guys are southern boys, southern gentlemen. You know, and if I get stuff from your neck of the woods, I'd be giving you a call. And likewise, when you guys get stuff from up in my area, I get a call from you. And it's kind of rare in this day and age that you have those kind of relationship hobbies and relationship activities that get developed and fostered over a period of years to kind of grow and mature within a hobby.
I don't know if you can see right behind us, but there's Joe Kloss, and I think he was there a minute ago. Ryan Brady is back there too, and I'd never met Ryan before. Knew him on Facebook.
Marcus Bailey as well.
So we have the Facebook group that a lot of you are members of, and we post on there, and some of us have our little mug shots as our profile pictures. But if you want to actually meet these guys face-to-face, get to know them, and develop that relationship, coming to a Trade-O-Ree is a great way to do that. And we've kind of said before on some of the other podcasts and whatever I've done, it does seem like there's a lot more Trade-O-Rees going on now, or maybe we just know about a lot more of them because of social media. Todd Kelly, let's kick it over to you, man. What do you think about this idea?
I think it's a great idea, and I have met a lot of people face-to-face that I've only known through eBay, selling to them on eBay or buying from them on eBay for years and years and years. Having been on eBay myself for 15 years as a seller, you know, there have been thousands of people I've sold to, but maybe only dozens that I've actually met face-to-face. And then when you actually put a face with a name or an eBay handle or whatever, it gives you a more of a relationship, and you have more of a trust level. Hey, that's a real person, not just an address at a P.O. box in Georgia or Missouri or Massachusetts or wherever. So it's a neat thing to be able to build those personal relationships when it's been kind of electrical or a mechanical relationship in the past. So like I've known Todd Rogers for years in person over a couple jamborees, but and we only see each other once every 2 or 3 years, but we communicate online a lot. And Jason, of course, you and I know each other well and have known each other for many years. You know, from our OA days when you were a section chief.
Back in the day?
When you were a kid. And so, you know, there's some people you know a lot and you see a lot, and some people you talk to a lot that you don't see much. Some people you may never see, but you talk to a lot. And so it's neat to be able to make those connections in different ways.
Hey, I thought of another eBay connection, by the way. Todd was just a few minutes ago looking at stuff that Boyd Williams bought. Now, Boyd just happens to have the table next to me, and there was this OA lot that some of you will remember. If I get a chance, I'll find the video or the picture and stick it on this video. Boyd bought this, and normally when someone buys stuff on eBay, it's like a big secret who bought it. But Boyd said, yeah, I bought it, and this is why I wanted that one patch and whatever. And so up here, Boyd has the rest of this OA lot in Jensen frame, so we're all like, you know, ooh, looking at it. Because we remember seeing that stuff on eBay and people bidding on it.
There was a lot of discussion in the group about it.
It was a big time.
There were 100-some comments maybe. I mean,
at least, yeah.
That's like a once-a-month thread that we get in there. I think the other impressive thing about it is that he's showing all the pieces. They're reasonably priced. I mean, I think there's a natural tendency. You spend $12 grand on a lot, you're going to try to jack up the prices to get your money back. And he's really got it pieced out well. He's got some good stuff behind it. Looks nice. Pieces actually, I think, in real life look better than they did in the pictures.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. I think so too.
What's that mug you're holding, Todd?
So our good buddy Joe from Best Hobby Pages brought a nice little mug with him and gave a bunch of us the mug. I think it's very fitting, especially for a topic of thread heads, that we would have a mug that says Patch Trading Fiend. So this happens to be our good buddy's mug. Mine's in my car, all packed up, ready for my flight home. But I think I'll be getting a lot of use out of this.
Yeah, I can see drinking some coffee out of that tomorrow morning after it goes through the dishwasher.
Yeah, it's a little dirty. You can't really see it.
It's a little
right
skunky, Joe. All right, well, we'll get it washed
up.
up.
Some box oil in here.
Another topic we wanted to hit on was the idea of mentors, because, again, this is, as Todd says, a relationship-type building thing when you come to a Trade-O-Ree, and all of us have had mentors that have kind of helped us out. So I'll kind of start off because this Trade-O-Ree was a really great opportunity for me to talk to someone and get some help, someone who I am considering a mentor in a new area of collecting I'm going in. Russell Smart, who many of you may know, is someone who back in 2002 wrote an article in the ISCA Journal about senior scouts, explorers, rover scouts, all those good things, air scouts. And that's something that I've gotten interested in the last year. And so talking to him, he invited me to come up to the Trade-O-Ree a day early, meet him, look at some stuff, kind of get educated a little bit. He had a collection that someone had offered to him, and he was willing to help me out to get some pieces for my collection. And so that's been great, kind of building that relationship. And now hopefully he'll keep an eye out for me and help me pick some stuff up as well. So I think in this hobby, as you said, is very personal. If you can build relationships online and offline, like at a Trade-O-Ree, then that's a great way to build your collection. Todd, who's some of a mentor for you?
I think for me, growing up in Western Pennsylvania, and I think if you threw like a Tom Price or a Shane Orndorff, Dustin Ferris, it would be Gap Danish. I mean, he's sort of the godfather of Western Pennsylvania collecting. And I think it's not that he showed us how to collect, but the right way to collect. And it's integrity, honesty. He always traded fair. You never walked away feeling like you got the raw end of a deal. And you've got that next generation of collectors kind of coming up through the ranks now and kind of emulating that behavior and flowing that down to a lot of the collectors in their lodges. I know Waggion and Monacan, the Alahawk Menawee guys have all benefited from that. My lodge isn't a hardcore collecting lodge like some of those, but I try to flow that down to some of the youth in our lodge as well.
Todd Kelly, how about you, man?
Well, I have a couple I can think of. One is Blake Kesey, who's a good friend of mine, who's kind of known as the red and white guy. And if you see me at Trade-O-Rees or online, I have a lot of red and whites. And I used to have a huge inventory of community strips, and I sold that entire collection of community strips a couple years ago. Well, I'm happy to announce that pretty soon I'll have about 5,000 community strips on my table, and a couple deals I just made this weekend. So Blake has taught me really everything I know about the red and white world and the military bases and the community strips and things like that. My other mentor is, as some of you know, is kind of my sometimes business partner, Richard Morey, who lives up in New Hampshire, and he's taught me a lot about books. And I started out collecting handbooks as my first real thing that I collected in the scouting world. I was in the Order of the Arrow as a youth, and I just really didn't get into patch trading and that kind of thing on a hardcore basis like you did when you were a kid, because I used to watch you do it, and it was bad. It was a sickness. But I did collect some patches from the 81, 85, 89 jamborees, but my real first hardcore collecting was handbooks. And so Richard's been a book dealer for about 35 years, and he's taught me a lot about the early handbooks. And of course Russell Smart, who you mentioned, is a big book collector too, and Doug Bierce and Chuck Fisk are guys that I've known throughout the years who actually literally wrote the book on collecting books. And so, those guys have taught me a lot, and Doug's a good friend, and Chuck's a good friend, and so those are kind of my mentors in the different areas that I really collect. Everything else I just kind of consider inventory.
Gotcha. One other thing about Trade-O-Rees is kind of interesting, and hopefully I'll be able to include some video clips of this, is that everyone at a Trade-O-Ree has a completely different setup. And some people are kind of almost well-known. Like if I didn't see that individual, but I saw the table, I'd know exactly who it was. And hopefully we'll get a few video clips of this. Obviously, boxware frames are real popular. Those black Jensen, especially here in the land of Chris Jensen.
Boxware.
Yes. I think they have a little breeding factory here that they pop them out.
Well,
you know,
funny story about that. My lodge is actually uses boxware for our archives.
Oh.
And I'm picking some up to take back with me. And Chris asked me which one I wanted. I said I wanted the acrylic. He goes, "Oh, I'm out. I've got to run to the truck and get more." And I'm kind of like, "Well, that's kind of cool."
There's the big red truck out back. Yeah, we're
Literally.
we're good. We're
Sounds
good.
shady, but it's legit.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Just fell off a truck.
At the Easley Trade-O-Ree, we have had a cool few things show up. There was a very early National OA Committee patch that has since exchanged hands. I was actually going to have the guy, Homer Gurman, come on here and show us the patch. Dave Barger, come on in, man. He's walking away. Dave Barger from Eswahupade Lodge. Guys, anything else? We didn't want to run on and rant and rave forever. Any other things for today's episode?
You know, I think Todd brought up the good point about books, but also checklists. You know, we had talked about coming to Trade-O-Rees. A lot of people, I think, when they come to their first Trade-O-Ree, they want to know what the experience is like. And the experience is always made better when you know what you're going after, when you can target specific needs. And it may be just having kind of a rough idea on a piece of paper. You know, I've digitized everything I do. I keep all of my files on a Google Drive and access it through my iPad. So when I come here, I'm not buying multiples of the same issue. I'll kind of throw a little joke about my buddy Dustin Ferris, who bought 4 of the exact same issue because he didn't update his checklist even when he did bring it. But you know, that's the kind of thing that in the hobby that we need more of are checklists. You know, you talk about, you know, books, for example.
Right.
You know, how do I know if I want to get into that, what I'm going after, senior scout stuff? And coming to a Trade-O-Ree, that's a great place. You know, Blake has checklists of red and whites, and he had them on his table. And I'm not a red and white guy, but it was cool to see that. I spent some time going through that. And that's sort of the other side of the hobby that is really prevalent at Trade-O-Rees.
Yeah, and there's no way that anybody can collect every single vertical in the hobby. I mean, there's not anybody that I know that collects OA and CSPs and books and uniforms and insignia and, you know, merit badges and whatever.
Maybe Russell Smart.
Except for Russell Smart. And he's got the best of everything. And so my point is that if you're going to go into a new kind of what I call a vertical, you know, in the hobby, a new area of collecting, the checklists are more than, you know, important, because like Todd's saying, you don't want to get caught, you know, paying for 3 of the same thing when you could have bought 5 different things, you know, and filled in more needs. I had a guy come to my tables this weekend who had been looking for 1 issue of a lodge for years, and I just happened to have 3 of them. And so he was excited to get that one and another one that he needed to upgrade in his collection. So, you know, and also with the checklist, keeping a record of what your condition is on each one of your pieces, because not only are you filling holes, you may want to upgrade. And somebody actually traded me an older patch for a newer one, but he kicked in some money and a couple other patches that I needed, you know, for my collection. And so it worked out great for both of us, because I still have a patch I can sell that was the same thing I sold him or traded him. He's got something to fill a hole that's an improvement in what he had, and you know, so everybody was happy.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point too about, you know, sort of a price issue that you just implied. It's also good when you come to these to kind of write down what you're paying for stuff. And that way, when you do upgrade pieces, you know, maybe you get something that's, you know, 50, 60 years old, a little moth-eaten, you know, maybe you pick up a better piece later, you can figure out what that delta is, and use your finances and means wisely, that you use to collect, wisely. You know, and then when you go to move that piece, you're not taking a loss on the original piece as well. You've got a record of sort of what you paid, you know, values realized.
Well, I bought a Trade-O-Ree, or 2 Trade-O-Rees ago, I think. I bought a book of a lot of first flaps from lodges around the country, and it was a lot of not really hard to find stuff. A lot of real common first flaps, like 2 and 4 and 7, and, you know, some really big lodges, their first flaps, and so they're not pricey by any means. They're, you know, 10 maybe to 25 or $40, you know, for some of these first flaps. But the reason I say that is the guy that I bought it from had written down on the card, on the back of every card, what he paid for it and what year he got it. And so, you know, that's pretty cool. You know, the guy I bought it from got it from somebody else, but the original collector had written down that information kind of in a little code on the back of the card, and I was able to figure out what he was writing on there. And so that kind of helped me price that, you know, that collection differently than I would have otherwise, because I kind of had an idea that in 1992 that one patch, was going for X amount of dollars.
I think another thing, just to wrap this episode up about Trade-O-Rees is, for those of you who sit at home and play on eBay and that sort of stuff, that's great. But one other thing about Trade-O-Rees that people really don't appreciate is the opportunity to strike deals and really get bargains. I'll just give you guys a couple of examples that I've had this weekend. One of those was being the opportunity to buy JSPs from the last Jamboree for 83 cents a piece in bulk. Now, I know some of you out there may think, why are you buying JSPs? But there's going to be another Jamboree, and I'll have some things to trade. But anytime you can get it for 83 cents, and probably, who knows, the council probably paid more than that. That's not a bad price. Also, from another table, the guy had books, and he didn't want to take them home. I was able to buy 5 books for $1. I hope my wife is not watching this because we don't need any more books coming in the house, but that's a pretty good bargain. So
here comes Chris Jensen.
Chris Jensen, come on over. This is live. This is Chris Jensen. We don't have much time, Chris.
Pull up a chair.
Pull up a chair, Chris.
Are those mine?
Yes, those are yours. You won in the silent auction. I didn't know that's what you guys were doing.
Tell us a little bit about your Trade-O-Ree and just say hello to everybody.
Hi, guys. It was a good Trade-O-Ree this weekend. I think we counted, I believe it was about 5 collections for more than 2,000 each that changed hands this weekend. Some real key pieces, fun Trade-O-Ree. We had 94 tables. What else we need to know about a Trade-O-Ree? Other than we had fun, ate pizza.
What's the date for the July one?
I don't have it yet. The rec center is trying to schedule a day camp.
Let's talk NOAC a little bit.
Oh,
That's
NOAC
the next big
Now
one.
that we have you here, let's talk about that little thing coming up.
Are you glad you were walking by?
I'm not sure.
This may be a whole separate show.
The 2015 pre-NOAC Trade-O-Ree, we've sold over 200 tables so far, already reserved. We have less than 90-some left to be sold. I expect in the next couple of months we'll probably be pretty well booked up. We have 700 room nights reserved in hotels, at 4 different hotels, and they're booking up real fast because the Boy Scouts are doing their best to grab a bunch of hotel rooms to put staffers in. Appears as though we're going to have staff in hotels and all the regular participants in the 14,000 some odd dorm beds on campus. The Trade-O-Ree is 3 days, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and it'll be a good one.
Now, I understand from talking to Justin, he said all of the wall tables are sold out or close to it.
All the wall tables are sold out, and we have a few islands of tables left to sell on the inside. And if things get really packed in, we can probably, rearrange the floor plan a little bit, put some more.
All right, this is Justin Carlisle, who's handling the registration for the pre-NOAC Trade-O-Ree, and he's very shy. But he also wrote the book about breast cancer awareness patches, so he can talk to you all about that. And I'm going to duck out.
I guess I'm old school. I'm used to these cameras looking like 35 millimeters, not realizing it's a movie camera.
Hey, at least he's not hand cranking it, so I mean,
yeah,
we're in good shape. So you got 1 minute, Justin.
Okay. Well, we're here at the mark to where I'm ready to start on the second edition of the Cancer Awareness evaluation guide, and I decided to wait until after the NOAC because I noticed that some lodges are issuing breast cancer awareness patches for the NOAC. So what I decided to do is do that, and this next edition, the second edition, will be the last edition for the breast cancer awareness guide. And we'll probably have the same terms. It'll be a digital version.
Bye.
Bye.